Drop it. Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Flexible, and yeah, I'm back with another video. It's been a while, and it's also going to be another while until I upload my next video. It's just that currently I have a lot of things going on, exams and all that stuff, so you know how life can get busy, right? But this video is just a quick little, because recently I've been improving on my Bujin deck list, and then because I was bored a minute ago, I wanted to like play a little bit with it. Because also like building a deck and like having the theory in mind is one thing, but especially if you want to go up against like meta or at least competitively viable decks, which many people say Bujin isn't really, it's really hard to tell whether it's going to be successful or not, especially with the ratios and stuff. So I want to test it out, and the first deck I played against was my Eldlich, which kind of scared me because, you know, Eldlich especially is known for being like strong, you know, like super strong, and Bujin isn't. So I was kind of worried, but this replay is super fun to watch. Let's hop in. So looking at the start hand real quick, it's a Sinyo, which is basically an honest but from the graveyard, so you can banish him to boost your monster. Then the Hair is a one-time protection from being destroyed, Solemn Judgment, Evacuation Device, and a Performance Hub Popper-Up, which in this case is used to discard Bujingis, which have to be in the grave, which then are banished to protect your monster. And then you discard up to 3 cards, and then you draw that many cards, and the rest is basically not important. So yeah, let's see what I can do with this hand. So also looking at my opponent's hand, he has 2 Ghost Ogres, a Fleur-de-Lis. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anything about Eldlich. I don't know anything about Dragma or Dogmatika, which is their correct TCG name. I don't know shit about those. I know a few little things, but I don't know whether Fleur-de-Lis is a good card or whatever. Forbidden Droplet, obviously strong card, but against Yamato it doesn't really do anything. So obviously I didn't know that. I'm just you know, saying hindsight 2020. Shout out to my boy Charles from Team COG. So yeah, let's see what I can do. I set my 2 trap cards, then I activate Performance Hub Popper-Up to discard my 2 Bujingis, which is perfect, and then I draw 2 more cards, which is the Yamato, which is insane luck actually. Like drawing it off of, like discarding 2 Bujingis and then drawing the Yamato off of the Popper-Up, it couldn't go better, honestly. And then the Duality in addition is just perfect, to be honest. Then oh yeah, I lose 2,000 life points because of the Popper-Up. Then I activate Duality, and what did I excavate? I took the Crane. Yeah, oh my god, this is insane also, because the Crane is basically honest, but for Bujin monsters specifically. So I have now a Hair engrave, which protects my Yamato from being destroyed. I have a Sinyo, which is an honest from the graveyard. Then I have a Crane, which is an honest from the hand. And now I think I'm going to send the... Oh yeah, I activate the effect of Yamato to search 1 card and then discard 1 card. He changed the Ghost Ogre to destroy my Yamato. I chained the Hair to protect my Yamato. And then the effect is gonna go through. Oh yeah, I search another Hair, right. And so now I again have Destruction Protection. I have 2 Honests basically in hand. He activates Droplets, which I don't really understand. I mean, Yamato doesn't do anything. I can only control 1. In the end phase, I can... In my end phase, so it doesn't even help him on his turn. But I guess... Maybe he just wanted to discard his Elixir. I don't know. But yeah, so he does that, and then he searches his trap card or whatever. Normal summons the Ecclesia, and now I'm gonna say... Is it... Oh no, that's not it. I bounce back his monsters so my Yamato survives. He sets a few cards. I draw an Honest, which is amazing. Honest is just perfect for Yamato. It's one of my favorite cards of the deck alongside Yamato, obviously. Then he summons the Golden Land. I think, if I remember correctly, I could have destroyed this card, but it doesn't really do anything for me. So like wasting a Crane or a Honest, which is super important, especially against Eldlich, where he can boost himself up to 3,500. It's not worth wasting a Crane or an Honest on this shit. And then I search a Turtle, which also I noticed Turtle, I kind of in theory wasn't a big fan of it, because it only protects the Bujin monsters when they're targeted, but it doesn't matter too much, especially with things like Impermanence or whatever. I just noticed that many of the cards... I think Dragma Punishment, yeah. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, blah blah, send it, and then destroy that monster. The turtle came in very handy here because I didn't have to waste my hair. Hair is way too important for protecting Yamato. So then he normal summons the Ghost Ogre, which is a tuner, as you're gonna see now, because he goes into Omega. And honestly, I don't even know what Omega does, to be honest. So I just thought, you know, without reading cards like too much, and also I don't know what else he's playing. Like maybe I could have used the Judgment in a more fitting situation, but I thought I'd rather just get away his Omega, and then maybe he can't do anything with it or whatever. Turns out he can do something with it, because I think he can shuffle himself back and then one card from my graveyard, which would be unfortunate. And then he also activated the punishment to destroy my Yamato. Then I chained the turtle to protect the Yamato. Then he activated droplets again, which doesn't really make sense. I guess he just doesn't understand. I mean, yeah, I just remembered also that it halves the attack points, which, I don't know, man. Maybe he was just confused. Maybe he also wasn't as good, but it feels very good, just like beating a meta player with something like Bujins. So yeah, I drew the Book of Moon for turn, then I went into battle phase. Pretty standard stuff. Elixir activates, summons a Golden Lord. Then I use the Crane to beat over it, set my Book of Moon, search the hair, discard the hair. And then what does he do? Oh yeah, he targeted the hair with his, what's it called, Omega, to shuffle it back into the deck. But since it's a quick effect, I can just banish it to protect my Yamato, which, first of all, my Yamato is protected once for sure, and also it doesn't get shuffled back, which is perfect. And then what else happened? Oh yeah, I think he searched a trap, exactly. And now I think he's going to... Oh yeah, also this is kind of weird, like maybe he was just as lazy as I was to read the cards, but he shuffles back my Crane, which is perfect for me. Like I want to have it in my deck, I want to have it in my hand, so he basically helped me there. Now that I think of it, maybe he just wasn't a good player, but you know, it's still worth boasting about, I would say. And this is also a really dumb thing. Yo, what did I do? Yeah, he normal summons the Ecclesia, and then I am thinking, should I activate Book of Moon? Activating on the Golden Lord doesn't help me because he's probably gonna think that I won't be able to stop him, and then he's gonna beat over my Yamato, which is not going to happen because I have Honest, and also I have a... I do, right? Yeah, I have a Sinyo. So I don't want to book him, but I was too lazy to read the card, and I thought like, you know, maybe Ecclesia has another effect or whatever, and I booked it. Which in hindsight maybe wasn't as smart, because I could have beaten over it with Yamato and then not only destroyed the card but also dealt damage to him. But yeah, he tried to beat over my Golden Lord. I honested and searched a trap card. He stops. Now this is a little unfortunate. Popper Up only helps me if I have Bujingis in hand, because I want to have him in the grave. It doesn't help me at all if I don't have Bujingis. Like even if I have other cards, it doesn't help me at all. So yeah, then I beat over the Ecclesia, which was in face down defense position. End phase, I activate Yamato. It gets ashed, unfortunately, but doesn't matter too much, because if you look at the grave, I have one hair in my grave, I have a Sinyo in my grave, so 2 protections basically. Can't complain so far. Then he activates the Eldlich, sends the trap card, summons him. He has 35 attack, which doesn't matter to me because I have Sinyo in grave, so he can't beat over me. He gets damaged again. Sets another card, I guess. Then the Duality, I think this is also pretty clutch. Raigeki, and also Honest. Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. I took the Honest, it's just too important. He summoned another Eldlich. Yeah, I could protect him with the hair, so he doesn't get destroyed, but it's more worth, in my opinion, to destroy his Golden Lord. Even though he can bring him back again, I think it's better to destroy him rather than just protect my Yamato. Then he imperms my end phase search, unfortunately, because at this point I really would have loved to, even if it's just a Crane and then discarding the Popper Up. I think at this point I didn't even have too many Bujingis in my deck anymore. I think most of them were in grave already. Maybe I had one more hair, maybe one more Sinyo. I'm currently not even really sure about my ratios at this point, but yeah, taking a Crane and then discarding the Popper Up would have been pretty good, but it didn't happen. So yeah, then he activates Nadir. I think to search something or whatever. Then he sends this. I chain the hair to the effect of Fossil Warrior Skull Knight, which is a card that you can banish from the grave to destroy a card. I think, yeah. So I chained the hair, didn't get destroyed. But he also couldn't do anything really. So he sends the trap, summons the Golden Lord in defense position at this point. Then he gets the monster out. The Ecclesia doesn't do anything. And then at this point, he surrendered, which is kind of hilarious because I felt like Eldlich had an insane grind game, just recycling trap cards. And even though now, as I said, I don't know too much about Eldlich, but they have to banish their traps. Maybe at some point the grind game would have died down. Maybe this was the point where the grind game died down and they couldn't do anything about it anymore. Maybe he didn't have any more monsters or trap cards rather, to recycle his Golden Lord. And if I destroyed it again, which I would have done 100%, 200% actually, because I also drew Raigeki, and I don't think, nah, that wouldn't have done anything. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have won the thing anyway, but I don't know what exactly his reason was to surrender at this point. Let me see, what did I have in grave? Can I go back now? Okay, never mind. Okay, so at this point, yeah, I messed it up a little bit. I don't know my way around EDOPro, the like replay system and stuff, too well, so I kind of messed it up. I had to watch the whole replay twice just to make it to the end point, and then I missed it. But yeah, so I just wanted to analyze the board real quick, basically, and to see whether he might have been able to do anything. So I don't know what this card does. Something like extra deck, special summoning, whatever. I don't know. So this would not have worked. Probably, most likely. I don't think he would have been able to do anything. Then the Elixir is basically dead because he doesn't have any zombie monsters in hand. Oh well, he has the Ash Blossom, but I don't think that would have done too much if you ask me. While I had I didn't have anything in my graveyard anymore, but I had an Honest in hand and I had a Raigeki. So what I could have done is Raigeki his board and then attack for 1800, or what I could have done is destroy his, Ecclesia and deal 300 damage, or I could have destroyed his Eldlich with the Honest. The thing is, if I destroyed his Eldlich, he wouldn't have taken any damage. I would not have my Honest in hand anymore, and he could have just special summoned back the next turn. So I think destroying it with the Honest is actually bad. Also, well, maybe if I Raigeki'd his board and then he brought back the Eldlich with an attack position to attack over my Yamato, then I could have done something. But that's the only way. Otherwise, I probably should have just attacked over Ecclesia with Yamato and then pass turn, maybe hope that he doesn't have another Ash Blossom or something. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'm pretty sure he would have lost anyway. He surrendered at this point, which is kind of fair, I guess. And now onto the deck profile. Now this is the list I'm playing right now. Let me just move my webcam real quick. It's kind of annoying. I also changed my setup a lot, so I'm sorry if anything isn't like super clear in this video. Maybe my audio is a little off, the video is super weird. I just have to figure it out a little bit because I changed my PC and all. But I think this should do for now. And so to quickly go through it, I play 3 Yamato. Obviously he is the main card of the deck. The deck is basically named after him, Yamato Control, so it's not a like regular Bujin deck with all the other Bujin Beast Warrior monsters and then going into the extra deck monsters and stuff. That's not really the case. I play an extra deck. I also considered playing Pot of Extravagance, which I currently don't do, but it's definitely worth looking into. Then I play 3 Crane because Crane alongside Honest is basically the most important card, because usually you want to establish a game state where your opponent cannot like flood you with negates or anything like that, and basically the only way for your opponent to get rid of your Yamato is by battle, which on paper shouldn't be too hard because he has 1800 attack, but with 3 Crane, 3 Honest and 2 Sinyo, which is like basically that's 8 Honests right here, it shouldn't be a problem to beat over your opponent's monsters even on their turn. And then I play 3 Hair. It's also very important because a Turtle, for example, which I play 1 of currently, only protects the Yamato from being targeted, and also once, I think it negates the effect that targets Yamato, while Hair protects him from any kind of destruction. So that's way more worth it than playing like 3 Turtle, for example. So, but I'm considering playing 2 Turtle now, because it's proven itself really worth in the last duel. So, you know, I might reconsider. Then I play 2 Peacock. Peacock is basically a searcher for any Bujin card, but it has to be activated in main phase 2, and you can't activate any other effects that are not Bujin effects the turn you want to activate Peacock. So if you main phase 1 activate Book of Moon or a trap card or whatever, and then go into main phase 2, you can't activate Peacock, which is kind of hard. And also the 2 duels I made before this one, I failed both duels, so I kind of was pretty salty about it, but I'm pretty sure Peacock can prove itself worthy, especially if I don't forget it. So, well, while it is dead in turn 1, it can definitely help you find the Yamato later, or just, you know, maybe you need another crane, which usually, like, let's say in end phase you don't have any cards in hand and you need a crane because the only way for your opponent to out it is with battle and he has a stronger monster. If you search the crane with Yamato's effect, you have to discard it again, right? But with the Peacock, you can just search the crane and then not use Yamato's effect in end phase to have the crane in hand. So in theory, it is pretty good. If it proves itself to be like more bricky or less, making the deck less consistent for some reason, then I'm gonna cut it, obviously, probably for a second turtle and stuff. Then yeah, as I said, 2 Sinyo, it's basically honest. Honest is insane. 3 Tenki, you need to see the Bujin as often as possible. There's no questions asked here. Then I play 2 Book of Moon. Also, like, basically 2 Book of Moon and 2 compulsory important normal summons or effect monsters or whatever, like extra deck materials can be stopped by, or extra deck summons can be stopped by booking or evacuating their materials, which is pretty dope. Also maybe like some floodgate-ish cards or whatever. It's pretty good. Then there's Foolish Burial once and Monster Reborn. Foolish Burial, obviously, because you want all the Bujingis engraved, so it should just make sense to play it. And the Monster Reborn is to retrieve the Yamato, which is like, without Yamato you're not gonna win. You can have all the Bujingis engraved. Yo, what did I do? You can have all the Bujingis engraved and whatever. You can have 5 honest in hand. If you don't have a Yamato on field, it's just not gonna do anything. So playing the 1 Monster Reborn. I used to play World Legacy Succession in this deck too, when I was playing a more like monster heavy build where I would also go into extra deck summons. So then I would maybe go into a Link monster and play Succession just so I could revive my Yamato even more. But yeah, since I stopped doing that, it doesn't make sense. Then I play 2 Popper Up because it's pretty cool to just get rid of your Bujingis, because sometimes you're not gonna be able to discard them all and then you're sitting on like a turtle and a hare in your hand, which doesn't do anything. Also it draws you 2 cards. It loses you life points, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's pretty dope. Also, playing 3 is kind of cloggy because, first of all, when you activate Popper Up, you lose 1,000 life points for every card in your hand, because the other effect is that you can special summon Performer Pal or Odd Eyes monsters or whatever. And then the goal is basically you discard cards, you draw cards, and then you special summon a lot of monsters. And if you don't do that, then you're gonna get punished for it. And since I'm only abusing it basically for dumping my Bujingis without special summoning any Performer Pal monsters, I'm gonna take a lot of life point damage. So if I play 3 of them, sometimes it would happen that I would open like both, and then I would either have to set them or just take more life point damage, which is kind of annoying like after a certain point, especially because I play Solemn Judgment. So I think 2 is the optimal ratio here. Also, deck space is really tight in this version. I've been struggling to fit so many things in. I wanted to play way more cards, and like I had to cut the turtle to 1. I had to cut a different Bujingi overall. I had to cut the extravagance, which I had before, as I mentioned. But in the end, I also valued duality over extravagance, because yeah, drawing 2 cards is insane, but digging for like a specific card, I personally think is more valuable, especially because we don't really special summon. I mean, it could technically come up that you know, like have a free monster and then you go into Susano and maybe OTK them or whatever, because Susano can attack every monster the opponent controls once with 2400 attack, and with an honest is basically an OTK if he has multiple monsters. But since that isn't really gonna happen, the part of duality restrictions don't affect us at all basically. Then I play 1 Raigeki. I just like Raigeki. It's obviously a powerful card, and I feel like that in the more modern decks I play, I can't really make use of it as much as I would like to. But in this deck, especially because it's a little more old school, I feel like it's a very well fit. Then I play 2 Burial from a Different Dimension. This returns up to 3 banished cards into the graveyard, which is perfect. Now obviously you don't want to like clog your deck with it, because you're only gonna do it like once every whatever turns, maybe just once per duel even. and then like playing 3 of them doesn't make too much sense. But having like banished 2 of your hairs, or maybe all of your hairs, the turtle and the sinew or whatever, especially the sinew maybe even, because sometimes you're not gonna be able to hold a crane or an honest in hand, and then you just need the attack power push or whatever. This is extremely useful, especially in the later sections of the game, obviously, because first of all you need to have the Bujingis banished for it to be useful. And then at this point I kind of wasn't sure, because I used to play Mystic Mine. I've like tinkered around with different tech options and something, but the Cosmic Cyclone I think is very useful, especially against things like Eldlich, where they might just, you know, shotgun their... I mean, in the last duel you saw it. I wanted to attack directly for damage, and then he just chained his 1800 defense trap monster thing, which I could only have attacked over if I had either a tanky on field or a honest in hand, which I used on this, but it's just completely wasted at this point. And if I had the Cyclone, I could have just banished it, right? And then first of all, he couldn't have gotten the end phase search or the search in general. I don't know how these cards work. Second of all, I would have dealt damage. Maybe I would have won even earlier. So also, this is the reason why Cosmic Cyclone was more worth it in my opinion than something like Twin Twisters, even though Twin Twisters technically has better synergy, because I can discard a Bujingi and then destroy 2 spell cards, which is +2, but I valued the Cyclone over the potential Bujingi discard. So yeah. Also, first of all, like in the first place I had only monster counter things in my deck, so I had 3 evacuation devices, 3 Book of Moons, 3 Solemn Strikes, something like that. But then I thought, hold on, maybe you need something against spell and trap cards too, because especially with Eldlich, spell and trap cards are going to be super important, and maybe something like the Numeron field spell things or whatever. So yeah, it might be useful to have at least something against spell and trap cards in your deck. And then I thought this is going to be super useful. Then yeah, I talked about the evacuation devices. Also, you've seen it. Just bouncing the normal summon or whatever, especially against some decks. Like for example, also I'm a Crusadia player, and bouncing a normal summon against certain matchups is just extremely valuable. Like they're gonna lose the entire duel basically, or like their turn is completely ended if you just bounce the normal summon. So I like this card a lot. And then there's 3 Solemn Judgment, which also works against spell and trap cards, but especially it's just almost an Omni Negate. It works against almost everything. Yeah, it costs half your life points, but yeah. And then the extra deck doesn't really matter. This is basically my old Bujin extra deck, where I played more monsters that I would summon out, and the Daigusto Emerald, which is also pretty cool. Emerald, or maybe something like Cloud of Avarice, which Cloud of Avarice is a little too much, because shuffling back 5 cards is probably going to cost you your graveyard protection, but shuffling back your Cranes, for example, Cranes and Honests, and then drawing another card is pretty good. The side deck, honestly, the side deck serves no purpose as of right now. I just threw it in there, like if I want to go first and I know I play against a back row heavy deck, then I'm gonna side in Heavy Storm Duster instead of maybe some of the monster counters. If I go against a combo deck and I go first, then I'm gonna play Dark Ruler and evenly match maybe some like Gamma Seal. And if I go second, or if I go first against a combo deck, then I'm gonna play different Dimension Ground. It's just like, you know, classic combo and control counters, so there's no actual reasoning behind that, or like based on any experience whatsoever. That's not the case at all. I just didn't want to go without any form of side deck, so that's basically it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and leave a comment if you maybe have any suggestions for the deck. Maybe you have questions about it, maybe you want to build it yourself or whatever. Feel free to talk about anything you want. You can also subscribe to me if you want to. I'm gonna upload more videos in the future, like probably during the entire next month. I'm gonna be still a little like the only video I know for sure I'm gonna upload is the Mega Tin opening, because I pre-ordered 5, and that's gonna be huge. I'm really hyped for the gold tins. And then by the end of September, probably in October, I'm gonna be super active with all kinds of Crusadia content, Bujin content especially. Like my 3 main decks are Bujins, Exodia, Mystic Mine, and Crusadia. And so yeah, stay hyped for that, guys. And other than that, goodbye.